No, he wasn't really running the country.
Knowing what you know now, do you wish like you had a third term? You know what? If I could make an arrangement where I had a stand-in, a front man or front woman, and they had an earpiece in, and I was just in my basement in my sweats, looking through the stuff, and then I could sort of deliver the lines, but somebody else was doing all the talking and ceremony, I'd be fine with that.
We used to think he was actually running the country, and now they're like, no, he didn't even see those executive orders. That was all auto.
With the Avengers that they put together, himself, Bobby Kennedy, that came out in Arizona also at one of the Turning Point USA events. You got Elon Musk. You got Tulsi Gabbard. You got the entire team, Laura Trump, who did a phenomenal job behind closed doors. Vivek, all of these folks. But November 5th, listen to me, folks, was the worst day ever for one person. You know who that one person was? Barack Obama.
All right, let's talk about Joe Rogan and Patrick Bet-David chatting about Barack Obama like they're spilling tea at a sleepover. They're not buying the shiny picture everyone paints of Obama. With their sharp jokes and straight-up facts, they're picking apart his time as president, saying it's more show than real results. They think the media loved his charm too much and ignored the not-so-great stuff. If you ever wondered if Obama's glow was real, get ready. Joe and Patrick are here to break it down with some serious ass.
He changed.
But he's black.
He spent 8 years. He spent 8 years giving the homosexual community all of our civil rights. We still need.
You remember when they gave that speech, when he gave a speech on television, and everybody was like, fuck this. And then they go, it kind of just went away.
It was one of the most beautiful moments in modern American history. People really actually stood up and stopped a war from happening. Today, I authorize armed forces of the United States to begin a limited military action in Libya in support of an international effort to protect Libyan civilians.
When Barack Obama left the White House in 2017, it was like he thought he nailed the best show ever. And kind of, he did, but Joe Rogan says it was more like a big, messy TV show called How to Look Cool While Things Go Wrong. The economy, that was his stage, and it wasn't exactly a hit. Joe just sits back in his chair and goes, hold up. That's what we're calling a great leader.
I think the best people age the hardest. I think Obama was probably like a very idealistic young man
Oh Lord, what's going on now? Who's hollering? I can't even see it.
who really wanted to change the world. And that dude aged more than anybody.
I mean, I'm getting old, so I can't hear that well. I can't see that good.
My favorite part was when Kamala Harris shows up, looks over and sees that Obama and Trump are talking to each other, and she goes like, yeah, watch the Look at her face. Look how angry she is, dude. Look how angry she is. It's unbelievable.
Then Patrick Bet-David comes in with all the numbers, like he's showing off a report card. He says once you get past Obama's big smile, you see a lot of fancy talk, but not much action. People thought hope and change meant awesome things. But Patrick says it was more like wars and cozying up to big banks. You had a better chance of spotting a unicorn than seeing Obama make a bank boss own up to anything.
Post comes out with this article, okay? If you can go to the New York Post story in the notes, Rob, that I have it at. Barack Obama makes shockingly honest admission about the state of his marriage to Michelle, okay? So here's the question. If they got a divorce, what's the big deal?
Nothing.
Okay.
Absolutely nothing.
So if they got a divorce and it didn't work out, Michelle's doing a podcast. I saw the numbers yesterday. Their episodes keep getting fewer and fewer views, according to...
You want me to tell you the numbers, man?
You have it, yeah.
So the new podcast continues to tank. The viewership is down over 75% compared to her.
Joe raises an eyebrow and jokes that Obama got a Nobel Peace Prize just for showing up, then spent 8 years making the Middle East a total mess, like a wild action movie. Patrick laughs and says, yup, and people cheered. Obama was super. Good at getting claps, not fixing things like wars or other big problems.
You look at the policies and the attacks on whistleblowers and drone strikes and all the other shit that happened during that administration, and the coup in Russia, and like there's a lot that's, from a foreign policy perspective, that's very similar to what George Bush was doing. But what they were doing was highlighting social justice issues that came about during his administration, largely obscured the fact that the foreign policies were very similar to what George Bush was doing.
Then there's the Affordable Care Act. Joe calls it the Unaffordable Confusion Act . He says it was like a sloppy school project thrown together last minute. Patrick explains it with charts, showing how insurance costs went way up and it didn't help as much as people said, but folks still acted like it was the best thing ever. Like it made everyone young again or something.
You seen it? No.
He gets a glass of Flint tap water, and I swear to God, he drinks it like this. Watch this.
Can I get some water? I really did need a glass of water. This is not a stunt.
Usually when something isn't a stunt, you have to say
It's
that.
100% a stunt. When was the last time a president stopped a speech to ask, can I get a glass of water? They would never do that. They would have water ready for him.
Obama talked a lot about being open and honest, but Joe says his White House was super secretive like. You'd have better luck getting secrets from a kid than from them. Patrick backs it up with facts, saying Obama's team said no to tons of requests for information. And the economy? Joe grins and says Obama tried to fix it with piles of money, like giving a tired horse a million energy drinks. Patrick adds that wages didn't grow, debt got huge, and the middle class was disappearing, but the rich folks were happy, sipping fancy drinks while everyone else was stressing.
This next story, why people think Barack Obama and Michelle Obama are getting divorced. Okay. Let's see what we got here. So rumors of potential divorce before Barack and Michelle emerged after Michelle skipped two high-profile events, which is traditionally attended by former presidents and their spouses, and the funeral of former President Jimmy Carter. Michelle's office gave no reasons for absence, prompting widespread speculation about marital status issues. Social media and tabloids questioned the couple's relationship, with many noting the unusual nature of her missing such significant events. Despite the rumors, there have been no concrete evidence of such.
Obama said he'd bring everyone together, but Joe laughs and says that promise went bad faster than sushi left out in the sun. Instead of unity, things got more divided, with lots of fights and hashtags. Patrick says the government was like a DJ playing music that got everyone mad, and the media? Joe says they treated Obama like a superhero, but foreign policy, Joe throws his hands up and says, what about Libya? That plan turned into a big mess with chaos and even slave markets. And in Syria, Obama's tough lines were more like soft doodles.
Pre-presidency, 1.7. So expensive being at the White House. It was so expensive that our net worth went from 1.3 million to 12.2 million 88 years later. What an expensive lifestyle. And then you go from 12.2 million to $70 million. What do you think the average person that listens to this, do you think they connect to that, Michelle? I'm just curious. Very good communicator. Very.
Patrick keeps going, pulling out facts about the Iran deal. He says giving billions to a country that doesn't like America was a bad move. Like trusting a bully who says they'll be nice. Joe jumps in, saying Obama promised to cut back on spying but ended up making it bigger, like the government knew more about you than your mom. And people still thought he cared about privacy. Joe calls it Obama syndrome, where looking cool and giving great speeches tricks people into thinking he did a great job. Patrick says it's like a disease where fancy words beat real results. Like Obama was the first Instagram president.
So I want to get right into it. I got a lot of questions I want to ask you. Some of it's personal, some of it's business, some of it's politics. But something happened last week. Barack Obama, he's at this event, he's speaking.
Right.
And he's given this message about your economy, how great the economy was. And then at the end of it, he says, you know, you didn't build that economy, I built this. I kind of want to get your reaction on this talk that he's given. Rob, if you can put that up.
And the reason some people think, well, I don't know, I remember that economy when he first came in being pretty good. Yeah, it was pretty good because it was my economy.
When things went wrong, Obama always pointed the finger somewhere else. Joe does a funny imitation, saying Obama blamed Bush, Congress, or even the weather, never himself, and education. Joe roasts him, saying Obama had 8 years to fix schools, but left them more tangled than ever. Patrick says he just threw money at the problem and hoped for the best. But schools in tough areas didn't get better. Then there's tech. Patrick says big tech companies got super powerful while Obama was busy making playlists. Joe jokes, the guy was too busy being cool to notice.
Obama during this Kamala Harris administration, it changed my opinion of that guy.
I don't understand how we got so toxic, so divided, and so bitter. And
He said he wanted generals like Adolf Hitler had. Donald Trump said that.
Did you have a high opinion of him before?
Yeah, I did just as an intelligent person, a statesman. He's probably like caught up in the system. It's very difficult to make real meaningful change. You think you're going to do something and then you get into office and you're like, oh God, what a quagmire this place is. But watching him just straight up lie about.
And after being president, Obama didn't just chill like other ex-presidents. He grabbed Netflix deals and podcasts, staying in the spotlight. Joe says Obama could have calmed things down when it came to race issues, but instead, he stirred things up, like starting a fight and acting innocent. Patrick says he made it hard to even talk about stuff without people getting labeled. It wasn't about bringing people together, it was about picking sides with a smile.
You're saying Barack Obama's gay.
I'm speculating
What caused
based on his mannerism. He wasn't tough enough in the White House. George Bush was tough. Andrew Jackson was tough. Every motherfucking body was tough. Except him. Get along, go along. I mean, we don't need no president to get along.
When 2016 came and Trump won, Joe says Obama's big smile finally cracked. All his speeches and cool vibes couldn't hold up his legacy, which Patrick says was more fluff than real stuff. Obama didn't step back like most ex-presidents, he kept tweeting and acting like a star. Joe smirks. Dude, you're not the boss anymore, chill. Patrick says he didn't retire. He just changed his brand, staying in the background, but still stirring things up. Joe and Patrick keep breaking it all down, saying every time someone calls Obama great, they're like, really, he was smooth, but it was all a magic trick.
Trump.
Good childish nicknames, crazy conspiracy theories, this weird obsession with crowd sizes.
The thing that got me was that very fine people thing, the white supremacist thing. They just kept trying to say that he was a racist.
When he's not complaining, he's trying to sell you stuff. You're running for president and you're hawking merchandise. Gold sneakers, $100,000 watch. Why are you selling a watch? What are you doing?
Which is this thing that I think worked in like 2017. I don't think it works anymore. I don't think people believe it anymore. We've gotten numb to all this stuff.
Joe laughs and says Obama was like a YouTube star running the country. Patrick adds, and most of his content was just made-up stories. That's the big joke. Obama's legacy wasn't about fixing things, it was about looking awesome. Joe and Patrick didn't make stuff up, they just pointed at the facts and said, "You sure about this guy?" When the speeches stopped and the cheers faded. What was left wasn't so great, there's still more to talk about, like scandals, and how he acted like he was above everyone. Veterans were struggling, taxes got messy, and debt went sky high, but sure. Let's talk about his cool playlist. That's the story, right? All style, no real wins. Wrapped in a big grin like he was the best president ever.